Hey, what's up guys? This is Johnny and welcome to episode 30 of the Travel Like a Boss podcast. I'm here this week with Charlie and Brittney, a couple from the tradingtraveler.com.
What's up guys? Thanks for having us on Travel Like a Boss podcast.
Yeah. How you doing, Brittney?
Good, how are you?
Doing good. So, we're out here in Chaing Mai and you guys how long have you guys been in Chiang Mai?
We've been in Chiang Mai about 4 months, 4.5 months, I guess.
We got here in December.
But prior to that, we were in Isan in Thailand, and we were there for 3 months, which was quite the change of pace from Chiang Mai.
Okay, cool. And you guys have been kind of traveling around a lot of Asia. And
yeah, our plan was to come to Thailand, settle down as a home base, and then hit as much of Southeast Asia as possible. And we'll actually be leaving here and heading towards Australia, New Zealand, and then back to the States, and hopefully through Central America into South America.
Alright, and Brittney, what place are you looking forward to most?
I'd say Australia, New Zealand. I'm not looking forward to the cost, but I definitely am excited about that. I think the most.
Yeah, very cool. So I'm actually going back to the US 2 days from now. But these next 2 days are going to be the craziest 2 days in Thailand for the whole year.
That's right, Songkran.
Yeah.
Yes, Songkran.
What do you guys know about Songkran? Have you been through one yet?
I have.
Okay.
I have been through one Songkran, and I know one thing, that it's a few days too many. If you go too hard in the early days, you can hardly make it through all of Songkran. So I told her we should maybe go out for 1 day and try to save ourselves for the rest, because like you said, it is pure madness for at least 3 or 4 days.
Alright, so for the people listening that don't know what Songkran is, it's Thai New Year. And one of the cool things about Thailand is we celebrate New Year's every other month, it seems.
That is true.
Yeah, because you have the normal Western New Year, December 31st, and you have Chinese New Year, which is a pretty big festival here as well. But Thai New Year, Songkran, is insane. When was the last time you had a water gun fight, Brittney?
Gosh, maybe never. I don't know.
And I mean, I remember as a kid, like being in elementary school, having so much fun with the Super Soaker, and didn't even realize how fun it is as an adult.
Yeah, and I think what makes it the best here in Thailand in Songkran is it's not just kids running around with squirt guns. I mean, you have kids from a couple years old to 80-year-old grandmothers that are all participating in the back of trucks, throwing water, just out having a blast. No one is causing trouble. Everyone's just is there for the fun.
Yeah, and it's basically a nationwide water gun fight that lasts almost a week. In Chiang Mai, it's the best place in Thailand to do it, which is why I always recommend people to come here for it, especially around the moat. So this city is surrounded by these old ancient walls from kind of old Thailand and a moat, and inside of it, what we call the old city, becomes like a zombie apocalypse with squirt guns.
Yeah, and one thing to kind of carry on that is, if you are going to come to Thailand for Songkran, make sure you plan in advance, because the one Songkran I was here for, I ended up getting stuck in Bangkok for a night because all flights and all buses were completely booked up. So if you plan on coming to Thailand for Songkran, just make sure you plan in advance, because it is pure mayhem. Everyone goes back to their hometown, and it's kind of a family celebration in all the big cities.
And this year, Songkran officially is April 13th, but it really starts a couple days before and goes a couple days afterwards, and really depending on the day it falls on. So this year it falls on a Sunday, which means I guarantee you the day before, on the Saturday, it's going to go off.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, and then for a couple days afterwards as well. So what I did last year was I got a hotel room right near Taipei Gate, which is like the center of the city. And I didn't bring any electronics with me. I didn't bring anything. I like literally just had some cash and clothes that I knew were gonna get wet. So all I had was board shorts.
Smart.
Yeah, and for I think it was like 4 days, I just slept in this hotel, walked outside my water gun, expecting to get soaking wet every single day.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, you have to expect to get wet. There is no, I'm not going to play Songkran. No one cares. everybody plays Songkran, and it doesn't matter if you're walking down the road with a TV, you're going to get soaked. That's the way it goes, and that's what makes it fun, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just to illustrate how crazy this is, so imagine that you're going to work, all right, and you're in a suit, you go into your bank job, and people, a lot of people still work during this week. A lot of people have the day off, but I see plenty of people in their work clothes, and they step out, they're completely dry, and 50 people run out with squirt guns and just clobber them. And you see the mailman, you're allowed to shoot him. I think you're even allowed to shoot cops. I think it's a little bit frowned upon.
I witnessed this a very similar thing. I said, people participate from age 2 all the way up to 80, and I remember watching an old lady in a traditional Thai outfit walking down the street, and it actually happened to be a friend of mine that walked up to her and poured a bucket of water on this completely dry woman. And I felt awful, but the woman laughed, and that's, like you said, that's part of the gig, and no one gets upset about it. It's crazy.
Yeah, so if you guys are planning to have, everyone listening should make this their plan for next year. So mark in your calendar for kind of mid-April next year. Try to get here a few days before Songkran, which is, so if it starts on the 13th, try to get here by like the 10th or 11th, and then stay a few days afterwards at least. And basically just get ready for the craziest water fight you'll have for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I agree. And again, pace yourself, because the one time I did it, I went a little hard early on, and I felt a little rough the next couple of days.
Well, it's pretty common for people who have done it before to kind of have mixed feelings about it. I think everyone kind of agrees that the first time you do it is the best time of your life, but everyone always goes way too hard because it's so fun.
Of course.
People start, like basically having a all-day 8-hour water fight, and it's hot too, so it's nice. The weather is, 90 plus degrees.
I think it's over
100
all week. Yeah.
And you can just run around and just do swim trunks or bikini, and just with a huge water gun. And you can get in the back of a pickup truck. You can pay someone $15 and they'll drive around all day. And you just go in the back of the pickup truck shooting people.
Yeah, and
it's a better idea than driving our motorbike around.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's citywide. It's not like you can go somewhere to avoid it. Everywhere there's people in pickup trucks just having a melee, basically.
No, it's countrywide.
Yeah, I guess, countrywide.
I don't even think people can. I really don't think until you've done it, you can't imagine the scale of it. So imagine you're from the US, and for 5 days, every single city, every single state in the US, that's 50 states, every city, every person, I don't know how many millions of people, or 100 million people have water guns.
Yeah, it's and not only that, but like you said, people are riding around in the back of pickup trucks, which there's no way you could get away with this in the States anymore. And for better or worse, 90% of the people are drinking as well as playing water gun fights. So it's something that you wouldn't see anywhere but here.
It wouldn't be legal, yeah.
Yeah, and it, like you said, it's a must do. You have to do it.
And I think also in the US, a lot of fights would probably start, or bad things would happen. But here, people have such calm demeanors that they would kind of just laugh things off.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, I expected the old woman that got water poured on her head to be upset, and not at all. She was completely fine, laughed it off. I never once saw a fight in the 3 days that I was part of Songkran. So, like I said, I think everyone has a pretty good attitude about it.
Yeah, and as years go past, it gets more and more organized. So they got sponsors now, like Coca-Cola sponsors it, and what they'll do is they'll set up a stage with local Thai bands, on the stage, and just blast music throughout the city. And they'll have.
Isn't there a foam party too, or something?
Yeah, that's what you were excited about.
Foam party.
And then you have water refill stations.
Yep,
which is great as well. And
the moat water.
Yeah, the moat water is probably not the cleanest.
Away from your mouth.
Yeah. Well, and what's funny is as the days go past, people get used to just getting squirted by water, so it doesn't really affect them anymore. Especially when you rut already, it's like, okay, it's more water, it's hot out, it's fine. Right. So the next stage of having normal water is people start using ice water. So they'll have these huge, 50-gallon containers of ice and water, and we fill from those, usually from the trucks, or in front of a lot of the restaurants and bars, they have it too. And even though it's 100 degrees out, when someone's shooting you with ice water, yeah.
Well, and another weird thing for me was, and I didn't realize this, and I don't know if they do this in Chiang Mai. I'd imagine, like you said, it's countrywide. But not only are you getting squirt with water guns, but people will come up and put baby powder on your face. And so you have random Thais coming up to you and putting baby powder on your face. And at first, I just didn't understand it. Kind of freaked me out. But then I saw everyone covered in white face baby powder, and I realized this is part of the tradition as well.
Yeah, I like it. And when we hear in someone else's culture, someone else's country, I just go with it.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. So both of you guys are originally from the U.S.
Yep.
Yes.
What part?
Florida.
From Florida.
So I just put this on my my Facebook, linking the German guy sitting next to me at Pun Space asked if this news on the Huffington Post was satire, and I said no. That's what actually happens in America, especially in Florida.
Of course.
Yes, unfortunately, Florida is notorious for some weird news stories. But even crazier, like you just said, I mean, we were sitting next to this German guy at Pun Space, but today was our first day at Pun Space, and we got to talking. And not only is Chiang Mai a place to come for Songkran, but if you do any type of online business, I mean, you have to come here. This place is absolutely amazing. We are sitting around doing our own work, and Johnny's like, "Hey, you want to go do a podcast?" Me and Brittney looked at each other. We're like, "Sure, why not?" So here we are. I mean, had no idea that this was going to happen, and like I said, now we've met someone new, same mindset of the online business, and now we're doing a podcast.
Well, that's how I started the podcast. I was here in Chiang Mai, and someone asked, that I think they knew my story about how I got into drop shipping, and they wanted me to be on the podcast, and I saw how easy it was, and I was like, I'm gonna make a podcast too. And a week later, it was up. So. But if that never would have happened, if I was still back in LA, everyone assumes California, San Francisco, LA is this the hub of internet startups, and it's true to a big extent. Google's there, Facebook's there, and there's a lot of internet startup guys there, but it's completely different. They're not really bootstrapping entrepreneurs. They're people working for a company, a startup company, trying to get grants. Doing making the software that doesn't necessarily make money today. They're just kind of hoping that they can sell it later on for more money.
Right, and the other thing that I see, and like I said, today is the first day of Pun Space, but I've been to a few meetups, mostly travel bloggers, but everyone is very open here. It's not a dog-eat-dog world. Even if you're in the same business arena, it's more of a culture of helping each other versus that I'm not going to share my secrets with you, because eventually if you have something that you help someone else out with, it comes back to help you. And I was asking Johnny about drop shipping because I don't know anything about it, but I know about niche sites, and they kind of overlap. So like I said, it's just a very like you said, bootstrap entrepreneur friendly environment here.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And just the workspace itself. I mean, we were talking about it earlier that it's so easy to meet other entrepreneurs there, and everyone does different things. Like what kind of people did you see at Pun Space today?
Everybody.
Yeah, I mean, you got programmers to
travel bloggers,
graphic design guys to guys using machines to program keypads for ATMs and stuff that I didn't even know existed, and you're just sitting at the same table as them.
Well, the guy that's sitting across from me, Jacob, shout out to Jacob for bringing the blender to Pun Space so we can make bulletproof coffee. But he made a lot of money basically making those red squiggly lines in Internet Explorer. So how there's automatic spell check in browsers?
Yep.
He's the one that did that for Internet Explorer.
Wow.
And, yeah, and that was his whole gig, and he has a family of like 5 that he supports and lives quite well. He makes a lot of money,
right?
And that's what he does.
Yeah, and super cool guy. Like you would, I didn't even know that. I had no idea, and you would never know that because he's very nonchalant. And it was really, really kind of funny, and it's almost embarrassing to tell this, but I was listening to your podcast, and that's how I was like, we got to go check out Punt Space. Let's go on Friday. I don't know what we're going to get done there. I don't even know what to expect. And to be honest, it was difficult finding, but we actually found it. And I walked in and had been on your site and been on your podcast, and we walked around and did the tour and everything. And Brittney asked where I wanted to sit. I said, I want to go sit over there with the guy in the salmon shirt because that's Johnny. She looked at me like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I was just on his site like 2 days ago, and that's how I ended up here. And she's like, whatever. So we went over there. Next thing you know, like I said, here we are doing a podcast. So it's just it's a really, really friendly environment here for anyone that has anything to do with entrepreneurship.
And I think a big part of that is just the fact that you're actually traveling, that it shows a lot of things. First, that you're open-minded, that you're actually trying to make it work and not just dreaming about it. And usually people that you meet in Chaing Mai, especially at Punt Space, they're at least making enough money where they can kind of fund their travels.
Right.
So they're not someone that's completely just starting out. It's someone who, at least has kind of figured out. I'm sure everybody's still trying to grow their businesses, but I think that's why everyone clicks so well. Is because everyone's kind of in the same boat. Versus, like when I get random messages from people on Facebook, or online, a lot of them, they're kind of dreaming about coming out here, and sometimes it feels like it's hard to spend that much time trying to help them, because you can try to you can spend hours trying to help them figure out their trip, and then at the last minute they're like, oh no, I'm scared to go out.
Right. And
the fact that you guys are already out here, it makes it really easy to connect.
Yeah, and another point that I found interesting was, in order to go to Punt Space, you have to pay to get in, first of all. Which at first I was like, well, why are they charging? It's just like basically a coffee shop. Like, why is this place different than just a run-of-the-mill coffee shop? Because there's thousands of them in Chaing Mai, but it's exactly what you just said. It separates the people that are serious from the people that are dreaming. The people that are willing to go and pay I think it's $6 or something for the day. You understand that those people mean business when they come there, that they're really trying to do something. Otherwise, why in the world would they spend the money to be in this environment?
Yeah, and the thing is, if you can't make $6 a day, while working online the full day, you should probably rethink your business model. And a lot of people that are just starting out, I understand that they're like, I don't want to invest or pay $6 a day when I'm not making any money online yet.
Right.
But if 100% this is something you're dedicated to, and that okay, if I sit here, I'll be more productive. I'll have better, faster internet. I'll have like a better, more comfortable chair, and I'll meet other entrepreneurs. And I know that if I do this for 2 months, then my business will really take off.
Yeah.
And it's kind of that faith as well, that optimistic, open-minded thinking, like the abundance mentality, which people really like as well.
Yeah, I'm kicking myself that I didn't go sooner. And that was just me being stubborn, and I had good internet at the house that we're in, so I didn't really have a need for it. But now I completely understand what you're saying. I mean, it's the environment that you're in that cultivates the drive. Everyone there has the drive to push their business to the next level, and that's what it's all about. And that's the justification of paying to be there with everybody else.
But also, so as a couple, and you guys are working, out of an apartment, and are you guys living in a 2-bedroom now, or
we're actually in a 3-bedroom house. Just because when we came here, everything was sold out. Another tip: if anyone's coming to Chaing Mai in high season, just be prepared that some places might be rented. But yeah, we're in a 3-bedroom house, and it's nice because we can get away from each other. But like most houses in Thailand, the living room does not have air conditioning. So that leaves us with going in the bedroom to turn the air conditioning on, or melt in the living room. And it's 105 degrees today in Thailand. So
it makes for 2 very cranky people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine, and especially when you're living together, traveling together, working together. I mean, even if otherwise you'd be the perfect couple, I mean, that must be a lot of pressure.
Yeah, you would think it would be worse than it actually is. I mean, I think since we're both working on the same things and we're kind of helping each other out, but then we both kind of take 2 different ends of what we're doing and run with it. But yeah, sometimes, he'll get out and go meet his uncle or meet his friends, and kind of we have our space, but really it's not as bad as most people would probably think it is.
Yeah, but like you're saying, I think it is good to speak with other people, because otherwise, like we'll go to the gym, but then we have no interaction with other people. It's just us. So that's a good thing about Punt Space. We can get our work done and interact with other people, again, that are all like-minded.
Yeah, and sometimes you get the best business tips from people who are looking, from an outside point of view.
Right.
Because sometimes we're so just close to our own business that it's really good to have an outside opinion as well.
I couldn't agree more, and that's why I ended up there. I heard that in your podcast was, you can get the opinion from someone else on your business, and it's not like they're going to be invasive on your business. They're going to be like, hey, that's not going to work because I don't understand it. Well, if they don't understand it, then someone else doesn't understand it. So just having the availability of someone else that semi understands what you're doing to look at something is more than worth it.
Yeah. But I do think it's super cool that you guys can, travel together and work together, as a couple. I really think that's, everyone's dream.
Yeah, I mean, don't get us wrong. We want to kill each other sometimes, but I think that comes with the territory.
Yeah, she kind of calls me a slave driver, but hey, I mean, like she said, it just comes with the territory. But on the whole, yeah, we're really lucky that we've been able to get along as well as we have, because not only are we starting a new business, but like you said, we're confined to the same 10-foot by 10-foot area every day basically, and she doesn't drive, so she's dependent upon me for basically everything.
Yes.
So that's probably the biggest struggle, is that if we want to do something separate, I mean, it basically can't happen because she gets stranded at the house, or she gets stranded in the city because she refuses to drive in the hectic Thai traffic.
Maybe one day.
Well, what I really like about living in this area, the Neiman area, is you can walk everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we want next time. That's what I said. I don't want to be trapped in the house anymore. I want to be able to walk out, walk to a coffee shop, go to 7, if I want to get a drink. I depend on him for my food. So, and I get cranky if I don't eat. So it's hard. I've lost kind of that independence. So I think, but living in a more walkable space, which is so, available in Chaing Mai, it would be a lot easier.
Yeah, well, me and Larissa just moved into this apartment about a week ago, and it was mainly just because of the area. I mean, first I kind of wanted to be close to Punt Space because I spend so much time there, but also this area is where I spend all my time anyways. Every time we go to dinner, we come to this area. Every time we go to a coffee shop or meet up with friends, it's always this area anyways. So I figured, it's, I might as well pay a little bit more for a slightly smaller place, but be able to walk everywhere we want. Like, for example, last night we went salsa dancing. Completely her idea, but we were able to walk there. And I mean, in what big city? I mean, maybe you might be able to do it in New York if you're in the right area.
Right.
But I mean, like, where else can you be able to do that within walking distance, and also be walking distance to your office, to the gym? Your gym is walking distance from here.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, see, that was the trap we fell into when we came. First of all, we came in high season, so a lot was already taken in terms of what we thought was available. But the price for an apartment in this area is the same price as a house a little outside of this area. So we were thinking, well, we might as well have a house in case someone comes to visit. But that is, first of all, not a concern, because hotels here are so cheap that if someone does come to visit, just get a hotel. And I am a huge proponent now of having to drive my motorbike everywhere. I'd much rather be able to just walk out the door, walk to the gym, because getting on the motorbike, driving through traffic when it's 100 degrees is just not the most enjoyable thing. It's much easier just to
But it's still
walk.
better than an hour traffic back in the US.
Couldn't agree more.
I mean, sometimes we forget about that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's very normal for people to drive half an hour to work in traffic in whatever city they live in the US.
Oh, yeah.
All my friends, I mean, I grew up in the Northern Virginia area, and everyone I know now commutes at least an hour a day. And that's just the protocol. I mean, that's what it is.
And I walk to and from my work barefoot.
Yeah.
I noticed that.
Because it's so close. I mean, it's literally across the street.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if we could do it all over again, we would be in this area because the proximity to everything. You have literally everything right out your front door. Food, gym, workspace, everything.
Movie theater now.
Movie theater
mall.
now, yeah.
It's a great mall as well.
Yeah,
That's
huge
awesome.
mall.
And so, but you can get a lot more for your money if you get a house right outside of the city. So for people that have a family or they, for whatever reason they want a big place, you can get such good deals. And the blog post I'm putting up today, so if you go to johnnyfd.com, it's called renting a house in Chaing Mai, and it inspired me because somebody posted a 14-bedroom house with a giant pool. It's a 3-story house that has 14 bathrooms as well. It's fully furnished, and it's just a couple kilometers outside of the city, so it's not even that far. And it's 70,000 baht, which is $2,100 like $2,300 US.
Right.
For a fully furnished mansion.
Not even enough to get you a studio in say New York City or something like that, or even
and it's furnished.
Yeah, 14 friends, you're paying like nothing a month.
Yeah, that is true.
Okay, let's do the math for that really quick. That would be 5,000 baht each, right?
That's less than a apartment.
That's $150 US.
Yeah.
To live in a mansion.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, or you can have 7 people live there for 10,000 baht each, which is $300, and you can each have a bedroom and an office.
Yeah.
Or a walk-in closet.
The possibilities here are endless, just because your dollar goes so much further. And like you said, there's actually, I feel, more houses available than there are apartments. So someone that does have a family that needs the room, they're definitely not in short supply. They're all over the place. But the younger crowd that is in Chiang Mai obviously wants an apartment, I feel. So that leaves all the houses for anyone else that needs the extra room or just wants the extra room.
Yeah, like for me, because I'm young, I'm single. Don't let me say that. I mean, I'm not married. I don't have kids. It makes it so much easier just to have a service apartment.
Yeah.
I mean, so we walk in, my bed is made. I didn't make the bed.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And it just everything's they clean the place, and I don't have to deal with anything. And that makes it so much easier. So for the location and for the service, I'd rather personally be in this area of the city and have an apartment. But definitely, if I had a family or something, I would definitely live in a house because it's so much better value. And you can hire a live-in maid if you want. You can hire a full-time maid for $300 a month.
Right. Yeah, I almost had a revelation about this the other day. Remember, I was saying that we're paying 15,000 baht for a 3-bedroom house.
So that's $450.
Yeah, it comes out to about
500.
We pay like 540 with everything,
okay.
Utilities, water.
Yeah,
500. Okay.
Yeah.
But the point that I'm making is, 15,000 baht breaks down to about 500 baht a day. And that's the same cost as a service apartment. So the beauty about Thailand and really Southeast Asia, it doesn't matter if you're in one place or you're on the go, it's going to be about the same. So we can get on our motorbike and travel from here to Laos, to Cambodia, to Vietnam, and it's all going to be roughly the same amount. Of course, we could go much cheaper if we stayed in one place. Like you said, you're paying 6,000 or 7,000 baht, and they come and make your bed every day. And this is more than enough. This is you don't need any more, because what we found is with a bigger place, you end up accumulating more junk. We came here with so little as it is, but we're already starting to accumulate more junk. So by having a smaller place, I think you just avoid that altogether.
Brittney, how many pairs of shoes do you have with you?
Honestly, not as many as he does.
Wow.
Yeah, it's almost embarrassing. I mean, I came with running shoes and
No, his shirt. We have we've filled both bedrooms' closets, and mostly with his clothes, and one entire closet is filled with dress shirts. And ask him the last time he's ever worn a dress shirt.
It's too damn hot in Thailand to wear a dress shirt.
But he still brought like 50.
For some reason, I brought them all because I didn't want to get rid of them. I mean, it was just this huge fear of getting rid of dress shirts. But whatever, I have to get rid of them. Yeah, but you do have probably 5 pairs of shoes.
Yeah,
right.
Probably 5.
But you know what? How many did you have when you were back home in the U.S.?
No, about 15 at least.
It's embarrassing. I mean, the amount of stuff we had and gave away and sold was just sickening. I mean, it's stuff I hadn't seen in 8 years that I ended up selling or giving away. It was why I held on to something for that long is mind-boggling, but you end up doing it.
So when you guys decided to move here from Florida, what were your fears? How did you overcome that? How did you decide to make the move?
I think the biggest fear was just leaving the comfort of home, really.
Or leaving my job.
Yeah,
security of my job.
Leaving a steady paycheck.
Yeah.
And not only that, but getting rid of your stuff is a very intimidating task. You have all this stuff, especially after we purchased our ticket, we knew it was real. And then the anxiety starts to set in where you know you have to get rid of stuff because there's nowhere else to put it. Of course, we left some stuff with our parents, or you could leave stuff in storage, but the idea is we just didn't want it because we didn't need it, and it was stuff that was just taking up space. So I think the biggest fear was leaving the comfort of home, and the second biggest fear is coming to Thailand. You don't speak Thai. How are you going to get around? But I've picked up a decent amount of Thai, and Chaing Mai you can get away with English, I feel, for the most part.
I think a big thing too is we were worried we weren't going to be able to make it work, and we were scared of failing, coming back home, and then everybody saying, I told you so.
Yeah.
And when we realized, we knew we would make it work. We weren't the type of people that were just going to spend all of our money, end up broke, and call our parents to buy us a plane ticket home. We knew we weren't that type of people. We would make something work. And if we didn't, we'd go home, and all the people that do make that comment, they're just jealous in the first place. So
yeah, I mean, I honestly think that when I first came out here, people were secretly hoping that I would go back and say that I failed, and that way they would make themselves feel better about their own situation, their own jobs.
Yeah.
And now that it's been 5 years, and now that I have far more money in the bank than I did when I left, and people are finally like, oh well, maybe this does work. Johnny, can you tell me how you did it?
Yeah, exactly.
That was really a shock to us. You know, when we started our travel blog, we thought for sure our friends would participate and help us get a start. Like almost none of them did, and I think, like you said, it's one of those things that subconsciously they want you to fail, to just be able to say, I told you so. And welcome to the real world. You got to go to a cubicle too. But if you're motivated and if you're determined to not go back to that lifestyle, there's so many ways possible. And if you don't believe me, just go spend a day at Pun Space. I mean, that would just open your mind to an infinite amount of ideas of making something work.
How much savings did you guys have before when you came out?
Me? I was in debt. Student loan debt.
All right.
I am as frugal as possible. So, I mean, after we sold everything, I mean, I sold my truck and just all my junk. I mean, I would say on the safe side, between $20,000–$25,000.
Oh wow, that's actually a lot.
Yeah, I mean, my truck was a big chunk of that. So
you know, a lot of people don't realize that, but by selling your car and your crap, most people have enough to live out here for more than a year.
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
Easy. I mean, $20,000 would, if we needed to, we could make that stretch 2 years and live very good life, not ever cooking a meal, still being able to travel, and like I said, living, I think, a better quality of life.
Yeah, I definitely agree as well. I mean, my car wasn't worth as much. I think I sold my car I didn't plan it very well. I think I had decided 3 weeks before I came.
Wow.
So I just sold my car to anybody, and
Right.
I only got maybe $6,000 for it, when maybe I could have got a little bit more. But
Right.
either way, it was
Had to go.
Yeah, and do I regret it? No, not for a second, because when I think about it, if I had kept that car in storage, and now it'd be 5 years older with even more problems, and I wouldn't even want that car anymore.
Right.
But not only that, it's an anchor.
Yeah.
Now you still have something left somewhere that you're responsible for. It's so liberating to be able to know that we can throw 2 backpacks on and be gone. Go anywhere in the world and be able to get an internet connection and make something happen. We don't have all this stuff, a house, a mortgage payment, a loan on a car, or any of that. I mean, we are able to pick up and move, and that's where I think opportunity happens. I mean, when you're able to jump on something like this, a podcast. Hey, you want to go do a podcast? Sure. So I don't know who's going to listen to this. Someone might listen to this that contacts me 5 years from now that is made it all worth it. So just being fluid is a huge thing for me.
So speaking of that, so your website is thetradingtraveler.com.
That's right.
So tell me about that.
So actually, when we moved to Thailand, we started 2 blogs. The Trading Traveler gets its name because I'm a currency trader. That's my background. And Brittney started Brittney Abroad. And what we found out was blogging is a lot more work than we ever could have imagined. So we combined the 2 into one, and the idea was to kind of just tell our travel stories, and I throw in bits and pieces of trading advice. I didn't really want to go down the trading information road, just because I didn't think anyone would get it until I put out one post on the Iraqi dinar, and that's been one of our top read posts. So
speaking of which, I'm planning on buying $100 worth of Iraqi dinar.
That's really funny. I mean, so we're sitting in Pun Space and it's dead silent. And you know, I met Johnny, and I told him, you know, our website and everything. And he looks up at me in dead silence and said, "I'm going to buy $100 worth of Iraqi dinar." And I looked at Brittney and paused for a second, and it just started cracking up because I realized that he had been on the website and read that post. But yeah, that's one of the top questions. As soon as you tell someone that you trade currencies, everyone wants to know, should I go buy the Iraqi dinar? You know, everyone says it's going to make me a millionaire. Well, they've been saying that for 5 or 6 years now. So I think you have a better chance of putting that money towards a plane ticket somewhere else to make something happen. So
what exactly is Forex trading?
Yeah, so Forex trading is foreign currency. Forex is short for foreign exchange. So basically, it's a market to trade all the currencies of the world: euro, yen, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, pound, Canadian dollar, US dollar. So same principle as the stock market or the commodities market, but it's a market for just the currency. So we're basically trading the different rates between countries' currencies.
So do you trade daily, or is that something you hold on to?
So I've been doing this for a long time, and it's evolved over the years where I've done the day trading thing, but I've developed it now to where I have my system set up that if I need to be to my computer, it sends me a text message. So I guess the simple answer is it's more long-term trading, and I have everything on a server so that if there is an issue, it sends me a text message and says, "Hey, get home," because you know the market is moving essentially. So more longer term trading.
Okay, that's cool. So I don't know too much about. I know nothing about Forex, and I don't know too much about stocks. So, but I wanted to invest my money somewhere. So pretty recently, I bought a bunch of Facebook stock, and the reason why I bought it is I emailed the richest guy I know, this guy named JP, who's a CEO of a big company in the US, and I said, "Hey, what do you invest in?" Because I figure, you know, he researches the crap out of it, and he also knows a lot of rich people. So I basically just follow whatever he does. And this guy's I think he's bought Amazon stock when it was $60 a share.
Jeez.
So he's bought Facebook stock when it was super cheap as well. So he's made like literally millions from that. And I just asked him, like, "Hey, what should I buy?" And he's like, "Well, I just bought some Facebook stock." So I was like, "All right, I'm gonna buy some too." And I was panicked for a while because I had bought 145 shares at $67 a share, and I was thinking, okay, I'm happy. This is what happens. And a few days ago, it drops down to 57, so it dropped by 10 points, and I'm like, crap. And my original plan was to just sell it if it ever dropped that low, because that way I won't lose all my money. At least I'll only lose a few thousand. But luckily, I have some good friends on Facebook, and also just in the comments of my blog. So thanks for everyone who's commenting on the blogs. And basically said, no, don't do that, because what happens is, things sometimes go down, people panic, and by the time you sell it, it might be even less, and you might even lose more. They said just hold on to it for the long run, and only sell it when it's high. And so I decided, I was like, you know what? Let me just email JP again and say, hey, I noticed that Facebook went down to $56 a piece. What did you do? And he's like,
buy more.
He's like, I bought more.
I knew it. And you asked me about trading, and I think that's why I didn't want to go down this road, because inevitably you get that question, what should I buy? Which stock should I buy? Well, first I say I'm not a stock trader. I've never traded a stock in my life. You want to talk about currencies, I'll talk about currencies, but that is inevitably the question of, okay, well, what currency should I buy? And if you tell somebody what you just described, 99% of the time it's going to happen. And people are going to panic and they're going to get out. And then the first thing they're going to do is send you an email or a Skype or a call and say, hey man, I just lost X amount of dollars because you told me to buy the Australian dollar. Well, then you feel like, you feel down in the dumps.
And I think that's why people, they are reluctant to give you advice.
Right.
But that's why I always frame it in a way. I said, what have you bought recently?
Right.
And then, even then JP still kind of, says, hey, just remind you, like, this, and she doesn't know what's happening. He's not, it's not psychic. So I think that the two pieces of advice that I've learned from that is, one is only invest money in stocks that you would gamble anyways. So what I did is, I think I decided to post a few months ago that I had $30K in my bank just sitting there. And so I decided, I was like, let me take half of it and just do something with it, because even with 15,000, even if I stop working or everything else stopped working, at least that's enough to live for a year.
Right.
So and in a year I can easily bring my bankroll back up again.
Right.
So I figured 15K. I was seriously thinking I should just put this on red and just go down to Vegas, gamble. And I was like, because I almost feel like the money that we make online it's like magical money that isn't real.
I get what you're saying, and a lot of people, and I think that's from the same people that tell you you're crazy. You're gonna go. First of all, you're gonna move out of the country, and then you're gonna work online. It's just this like make believe life, and it feels like it until the first dollar hits your account, and then you're like, wow, this is real. And if I can do this, then I can do something else, and it gets the ball rolling. But I understand exactly what you're saying, and it's funny you say that you're now in Thailand and you have the ability to invest $15,000. There's so many people that I know personally back home that couldn't even dream of doing something like that, because they have to make the mortgage payment, and they have to make the car payment, and they have to pay the student loan and everything else. So the ability that you have, the freedom, is just is mind-boggling to most.
But what's crazy is those people that can't afford to invest 15K make 100K a year, and it's like, how can you make that much money and not have any cash in your bank account? And it's because they have the crazy car payment and the crazy mortgage.
So funny you say that, because my best friend here in Thailand is a school teacher, and I think he makes maybe $1,500 US a month, but he saves more than all of our friends back home in the States who are making $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a month working, a year. But because he doesn't have the crazy apartment and the crazy car and everything else, so it's just crazy that that he's able to save all this money on such a low salary, but because his expenses are so low, he's able to do it.
Like, I used to think that saving $300 a month was a lot of money. And that was my goal when I lived in the US and I was making $50,000 a year. I was like, I'm gonna save $300 a month, and that was a stretch. It was kind of hard to even put that aside. And now it's like, I think I don't even really know what my plan is. I didn't look at my finances until a few days ago, or a week ago, when I actually wrote down the blog post, like what I'm spending. And my whole plan was, I just want to make a lot more money than I'm spending. And I figure my budget, it's hard to spend more than $100 a day.
Yeah, you have to try. I mean, you really have to try.
Like, you literally have to treat all your friends out to a meal. Like, you have to be like,
meal and beers.
Yeah.
I mean, there's $100 is a crazy amount of money to spend in a day here.
Yeah, and that's only $3,000 a month. So if you're making $36K a year, which is like an entry level, like a very low salary.
Sure, straight out of college job in the States.
Yeah, that's it. So in my mind, that's the minimum I shoot for. Every day I wake up and I log into my email and I look how many new orders I got from my stores. I look at a couple of things, and I'm like, did I make $100 today? And if I did, I'm happy. And sometimes I'm just tempted to just close the lid.
Call it a day.
Yeah, but I figure anything after that is extra money. It's bonus money.
Right.
So if I can make $300 a day, or on like a really good day, if I can make, I mean, I've had, they don't happen very often, but that's the big goal is
right.
If you can make $1,000 a day, you freaking kill it out here.
Oh, I mean, really, you could kill it in a lot of places of the world on that kind of money. And I think that's everyone's goal. And the important thing is, because it's so cheap, you have the ability, like you said, $15K to invest in the stock market, but you could take that same $15K and invest in yourself in a course to develop something new, something completely different from, you're into dropshipping. Well, maybe you invest and you start doing something like, recently I started developing mobile apps. I know nothing about apps, but I have the ability to find programmers to program these apps for me. So you have the flexibility to try multiple different avenues to generate revenue. And like you said, it's because it's so cheap that you can take that risk. Because back home, you can't risk that extra $300, like you said. Otherwise, you have no car payment or no rent, or you don't eat. I mean, it's whatever.
I literally have zero debt. I paid off my student loans. I don't have a car. I don't have a mortgage. The apartment that we're sitting in right now, while recording this, is $220 US a month. Yeah,
and I kicked myself because I went for the $500, I guess $460, whatever, $500 house, and yeah, it's nice and it's brand, it's completely renovated, but it's more than I need, even if I can afford it. It's just you develop this different mindset. When you get out of the keeping up with the Joneses, that you interviewed someone the other day, I think, or I was listening to a podcast the other day that said, there's so many people in Chiang Mai or just entrepreneurs in Southeast Asia that have way more money than you would imagine, and they're driving around on an old motorbike in flip-flops and a t-shirt, but that is what they're comfortable in, and there's no need to impress anyone here. So the whole mentality of losing the materialism is very much alive and well here.
There's an article by some Chinese billionaire, and one of his tips was, when you don't have money, dress like you do. Mm-hmm. But once you're rich, stop dressing that way.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I have the utmost respect for, like you said, the guy sitting next to me at Punspace today, you said makes great money being a programmer, and I had no idea because he's dressed just like I am, in shorts and a t-shirt.
Yeah, and I don't know exactly how much money he has, but I know he currently has like 7 people living in his house, because not only is he married with a couple kids, but the family of like his wife's parents moved in as well, and he's the only bread earner, and he has a couple different properties. He owns a couple condos out here.
Wow.
And he has genuine Beat headphones. Which nobody buys in Thailand, because you could buy the knockoffs on any street corner for $10.
Yeah, but like you said, I mean, just not flashy at all, and that seems to be the trend around here.
And people are so generous too.
Yeah,
like, for example, I mean, just as we were walking out, I said, "Oh, we're gonna do a podcast," and he's like, "Oh, hey, I just bought a new Blue Yeti. If you ever want to use it."
Right. Yeah.
And it's like a $200 podcast mic. And I was like, "Oh no, it's okay. I have one." He's like, "All right, well, I'm just gonna leave it here at Punspace for anyone to use."
Wow. I didn't hear him say that, but that's amazing.
Yeah.
And you yourself, you offered, your motorbike to someone else you knew that if he needed to rent it or whatever. I mean, it's just everyone's willing to share here, I guess. Is the bottom line.
I basically was just gonna give it to him. I was like, "Hey, I'm not gonna be here for the next 3 weeks. If you just want to use it,
right?
Just have it."
Right.
And he's like, "No, I'm just gonna rent one. So I don't want to accidentally crash it."
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, that's a sense of responsibility. So I can respect it, but like you said, everybody is more than willing to help you here. So, and like you said, I think that stems from the having the guts to actually leave home, wherever home may be, and try to make something happen elsewhere.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I'm going to be home in the U.S. 2 days from now, and I'm going back for 3 weeks to go to 2 back-to-back weddings.
Nice.
So it's kind of nice. See my family, see some of my friends, but I can honestly say that I don't really miss anything from home besides the people. Mm-hmm. And I think it's because in Chaing Mai I have everything I can ever dream of.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier, and you're leaving in 2 days, and we're leaving in 2 months, and already we thought, I guess after a month we were a little homesick. After the first month you're a little homesick, but once you get past that, you literally have everything here other than the people from back home, obviously. But you're 2 days away. I can't imagine what you're going through, but
I didn't even pack yet.
Well, we're 2 months away, and I'm already starting to panic, thinking, "Oh, we're leaving this great place." But at the end of the day, it's still here. You can always come back. So
I'm coming back. I'm
yeah,
leaving
exactly.
everything. Now, the only reason why I even got this apartment now, even though I'm going to be gone for almost a month, is just so I can leave my crap here.
Yeah.
Because it's so cheap that you can literally just use it as storage.
Yeah, exactly.
And I figure, because I'm not flying back until, I think I arrive at like 11 p.m. when I return, and I don't want to look for a hotel or check in anywhere. I just want to be able to come in, unpack my stuff, and then just be home.
Yeah.
And to me, that is far worth $200.
Absolutely.
Couldn't agree more. And just to not have to deal with going around, looking at places is more than worth it, especially if you already found a place that you like, especially in this area. I think you got a really good deal for this area to be paying $200. And this is like the Manhattan of Chiang Mai.
It really
basically.
is.
Yeah.
And the coolest neighborhood in Manhattan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and there's so many places. I mean, people keep asking, like, how do I find this apartment? I said, go to anywhere you want and then just walk around. Like any neighborhood that you like. I mean, literally, if there's a coffee shop you like, start there. If there's if there's a restaurant you like, start there. If there's a gym that you want to start going to, and that's what I did for the CrossFit gym. I went to the gym and I walked around to find the closest apartment that was near the gym.
Just trying to find pen space. We were driving around all these soys back here and discovered all of these apartment complexes. And we're like, how have we, and restaurants and coffee shops, we're like, we've been missing out on these the entire time.
And none of them have websites. So
no, I was just going to say that. I mean, you make a great point. You can do all the research online that you want, but it's so much better to come here and walk around for yourself. And actually, we did a post on our website about this, because a lot of times what you'll find out is I recommend going to the place that you think you found and go there again at night, because Thai people love loud music. And it just so might happen that you are right next door to a karaoke bar that's open till 2 in the morning, playing, the latest Adele song or whatever it might be. So every night, and that's what happened to us at this house. So the best thing to do, like you said, walk around, get familiar with the area, find something you like, and check it out and settle on it, because at the end of the day, it's $200.
Yeah. So, all right. So one question I had about not really Forex trading, but just currency itself. So tell me this is a brilliant idea or this is stupid. The Thai baht changes quite a bit, right? And right now it's probably like 32 baht to the dollar, which is really good. And I remember last year it was like 29 baht to a dollar,
right?
Which is a 10% difference.
Yeah.
And I mean, that may not seem like a lot to people listening, but imagine if your monthly budget is $1,000, which is pretty normal for here. By having the higher exchange rate, it's 10% difference. So it's, instead of paying $1,000, you're only paying $900 a month.
Right.
So that adds up. So my idea is there a way where I can just get a let's say a Thai bank account or something, and every time I see the Thai baht worth a lot, anytime it's over $32, can I just buy a ton of Thai baht and have it in an account?
There's an even better way to do that, and that's to go open a Bangkok bank. This is speaking if you're coming from the U.S. Go get a Bangkok bank account, because Bangkok Bank has a branch in New York City. And what you can do is transfer from any bank that you have in the States, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, whatever you use, and just do a standard bank-to-bank transfer. Not only are you going to get a far better rate than what you're going to get on the street, at an exchange, but the transaction costs are a lot less, and it's instantaneous. So you can do basically what you're saying. As soon as you see the Thai baht higher, you just go to your bank account, log in, transfer money, and bam, it's there. Usually takes me, I think, 3 days to process. So a good idea, but on the flip side of that, you got to also remember that the Thai baht was at like 41. How many years ago? I think that was like 4 or 5 years ago. Don't quote me on that, but it was a few years ago. So nonetheless, a good idea, especially Thailand has some stability issues right now with the government, so the baht is fluctuating a lot. So as soon as, I think, like you said, 32 to 33, go ahead and make a decent amount of transfer. Because the other problem is, if you use an ATM, for example, the exchange rate at an ATM is atrocious. You're going to get a terrible exchange rate. On top of that, you're probably going to get charged a foreign transaction fee from your bank, depending on what bank you have. And the max withdrawal, I think, is like $400. Whereas you can do a bank-to-bank transfer with Bangkok Bank for many thousands of dollars. Well, you're not going to spend many thousands of dollars in Thailand, so transferring any more is almost pointless.
That's cool. And let's say I decided to go back to the US. Would I be able to transfer that money back to the US dollars with Bangkok Bank?
That's a really interesting question, and I don't know the answer to that. I do know that I called the branch in New York when I was in America, and they essentially told me to call the branch in Bangkok. So okay. I don't really know what to make of that.
Well, I mean, I guess worst comes to worst, I can always withdraw all the money and then just change it at the airport, get a really crappy rate, but it's still possible to get the money out.
Or Bangkok Bank offers a US dollar account, so you can just transfer it right there to US dollars. So yeah, they offer a foreign currency account, so solves all your problems.
Okay, that's easy. So that's something that I'm gonna set up, a nice little travel hack.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So besides the foreign exchange, what else do you guys also do some apps and you monetize that?
Yeah. So that I started about a year ago with my first app, but really started getting into it the last 3 months. And I actually have a website that's kind of an open case study if anyone's interested in that. micronicheapps.com, kind of following the whole niche world that everyone's involved in. But we also started building some niche sites. It seems like every travel blogger out there is going down that road, kind of a spinoff from what you're doing with the drop shipping. It's a lot steeper learning curve than I initially thought, but it does work. We've proven it to work. The apps are working. So like I said, there's so many different angles, but it is a learning curve. So you have to commit yourself to learning everything that you need to be able to make it work. So the apps, the niche sites, the trading, we're trying to get the travel blog going, although we don't really look to monetize that anytime soon. That's more for our own entertainment and to make connections like yourself. So yeah, I guess that kind of sums up our funding of travel.
So the niche sites, they're Amazon affiliate sites?
Yeah, mostly Amazon affiliate sites. I'm starting to look into just different affiliates through Commission Junction, but I've yet to go down that road. So for right now, Amazon affiliate sites and the apps are mostly in-app purchases is how we monetize that, because I found that if you're going to rely on ad revenue from mobile apps, you better have a lot of downloads and you better have a lot of traffic to those sites. Same thing with an AdSense website. You need the volume there to justify it.
And I think the user experience is far better for a freemium app than an ad-supported app, because those are just annoying to me.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And you almost nowadays you have to give away your app for free, because there's so many people competing that if you're going to charge for an app that someone else can develop for free, then it's a no-brainer. They're going to obviously download the free app. So you have to be able to offer some value.
Unless you are Ellen DeGeneres and you charge 99 cents for the Heads Up app, which is the best app ever made.
And I know nothing about that.
I was going to say, what is that?
Give me the background on
so it's a game. It's kind of like charades meets Taboo meets one of the, one of these guessing games, where you basically hold up your phone to your forehead and you make them guess. Your partner's kind of shout out things.
Okay.
And it is such a well-made app, and it's super fun. So I encourage everyone to go to the App Store, download Heads Up by Ellen DeGeneres.
But see, that's the beauty behind apps is you can create these apps for as little as $50. That's one of the cheapest ones I've had programmed. And it can be the simplest of apps that just takes off. And I think it's the 80-20 rule when it comes to these apps. You don't know which app is going to take off. So you have to develop them. And a $50 app might succeed and a $500 app might be a flop, but you never know until you put it out there. And some of the silliest ideas are the ones that just go crazy. Look at Flappy Birds.
Yeah,
jeez.
What's actually funny about Flappy Birds is I was in Saigon about a month ago,
right?
And I met all these entrepreneurs. They knew that I had some kind of successful online business, but a lot of people didn't really know what it was. And when they asked me, I would just to mess with a few people, I would say, "Oh yeah, I just have this this silly game on the on the App Store." And they're like, "Oh yeah, how's it doing?" And I was like, "Oh, it's doing really well. I was making like 50K a day from it, but I had to take it down." And 100% of the people, were like, "Oh my god, you're the Flappy Birds guy."
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, and those stories are all over the place in terms of apps. I mean, some of these, what you would think wouldn't work, just blow up, and they're the next Flappy Birds or the next Instagram or whatever it might be. I mean, it's just the like I said, the options are limitless when it comes to that stuff.
So if you had to choose just one, would you do, like, let's say you're going to start over and you're like, okay, I want to focus on one thing to make money. Would you do the affiliate sites, or would you go into making apps?
Oh man, that's a really tough one, because here's the thing, like, doing the affiliate sites has taught me how SEO works.
Okay.
And so I've taken those principles and applied them to the App Store. So it's almost like they were both necessary. But honestly, I think I'd go down the niche site road over the apps, just because you understand how the web works. You understand why people are searching for what they're searching for and how they're getting there. And then you can take that principle and apply it somewhere else. And that's essentially what I've done with these apps. I mean, like I said, micro niche apps is, it spells it exactly out. You're taking that same niche principle and applying it to the App Store. So I think it's almost necessary to go down the niche road first before going down the apps road.
So Brittney, you looked a bit surprised when you said that.
Yeah, I do understand that point of view.
She looks at me that way because the apps are generating more money than niche sites right now.
And they're a lot less work for you.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Guess.
I mean,
because you guys outsource all the programming for the apps.
Outsource everything for the apps, and we're building everything ourselves for the niche sites. And that's mostly because I have a lack of content writers. I mean, yeah, there's plenty of content writers out there, but every time I get something back, it's just, it looks canned, or it looks like a non-native English speaker wrote it. So shout out to anyone that's got any good content writers. Please shoot me an email. But nonetheless, I think you're right. Actually, the apps are a lot less work, and of course they're making more money.
I think they're a little more stable too than
the niche site.
We found out after we
arena is definitely cutthroat, and you're at the mercy of Google updates. So
so you were asking me earlier about affiliate sites versus dropshipping sites, and I have both. I do some Amazon affiliate sites, mainly just for passive income, and to be honestly, I don't even do it for the money. I do it so I can buy stuff from Amazon for free. But the reason why I like dropshipping is Google likes e-commerce stores. Mm-hmm. They like the fact that when they send traffic to you, you're like an actual store actually selling a product, versus sending it to a blog or a site that just has a link to another site.
Right.
So I really believe that in the next couple of years, as Google is openly saying we're killing SEO because it doesn't benefit them in any way. And Google doesn't feel like it benefits the consumer that clicks the link either. And for those who are a bit unfamiliar with what a niche site is, can you explain that really quickly?
Yeah, so a niche site is basically you're determining what people are searching for a particular product that they're going to buy, and then you will develop a site around that product with the hopes that you're going to get ranked on the first page, if not first place in Google, for that particular search term. And the idea is that they come to your site, click your affiliate link through Amazon, and every time they do that and buy a product, you get a commission. But like you said, the problem that we're finding with it, and I guess I'll back up. The reason we started with this is you don't have to invest as much time into a niche site as you do an e-commerce store. So we wanted to see this work and see that our SEO tactics work before we go down a dropshipping route. But at the same time, you do invest a lot of time in these niche sites that you get on the first page of Google like we did, and then you wake up the next morning and it's nowhere to be found. So all that time is completely wasted, but it's a necessary evil. I mean, you have to do it to first teach yourself how this system works. So what we might now do after speaking with you and a few other people is transition these niche sites over to e-commerce stores, because that's definitely a possibility as well.
Yeah, and because you already have the content for it, you've already proven what people want to buy.
Right.
And you get better margins.
Right.
So the margins for Amazon affiliate sites are usually like, what, 4 to 7%?
Start at 4% and go up to, I think, max out about 8%, unless you're like a stellar niche site seller. But you know, on the whole, I would say between 4 and 6%. So the margins are very narrow, of course.
And for drop shipping, it's usually between 10 to 30%, but usually it's more like between 10 and 25% after all the advertising costs, after all the everything.
Right.
So the next level after that would be importing or making, you know, or even just manufacturing your own goods. But what I like about the niche sites, the affiliate sites, and the dropshipping is there's no upfront inventory costs.
Right.
And I really do believe that it's silly just to spend 15K, you know, importing stuff from China when you have no idea if it sells or not.
Yeah.
100% start with either an affiliate site or dropshipping site.
Right. Well, and see, that was the mistake we made. We thought we would be able to crank these sites out in no time. It would take us a month to learn the process. No, that's not the case. I mean, it's definitely a learning curve, and I've stumbled along the way trying to pick this stuff up. And we're just now to the point where we actually understand what you're talking about, and to the point where we can talk intelligibly about SEO and about content writing and about, you know, all this other stuff that revolves around this world. So absolutely start with something that's not going to be a huge investment. I mean, what do we have wrapped up in a niche site? Maybe $20, $25 with a domain and hosting.
Yeah,
so it's nothing. You might as well give it a shot, and if you fail, great. You know, you spent $20 on a meal. It's the same cost, which could be a prosperous business. You don't know.
So you said it took you a couple months to figure it all out.
Mm-hmm.
What are some resources that you use to learn how to build these Amazon niche sites?
Well, fortunately for me, I had a buddy back in LA that is an SEO wizard. So I kind of went through the hard knock school of him teaching me. But really, the best thing that I found are these sites and case studies like your site. It's a podcast. It might not necessarily be about niche sites, but I pick up bits and pieces from here and there. And when I go to the gym, I have podcasts on. I'm not listening to music. I'm listening to podcasts. Anywhere, anytime, I'm listening to podcasts. And sites like Spencer Hawes Niche Pursuits is a great place to start for niche site ideas. There's countless other ones out there. Just if you type it in, you're going to find it. Something that might be good for me is not good for someone else. But like I said, just diving in head first, trying to find this information is going to lead you down the right path.
I think the only problem with kind of just Googling, you know, like niche site teacher,
get some spammy
you get
stuff,
some crazy internet marketers. I know I only recommend stuff I either personally use myself
I agree,
or things that at least I know the guy and I know that he makes money from it at least.
Mm-hmm.
So the only niche site guy I know that really makes a lot of money is a guy named Tong Tran, and he has cloudliving.com.
Yeah.
I haven't actually used his course, his product, so I don't know nothing about it, but I know he personally makes a lot of money from his niche site, so I know that at least that part of it works.
Yeah, I've read a lot of Cloud Living. Another one that's like that is Viper Chill. Same principle, super open and transparent. It's not this look at me, I'm so rich, but buy my product type of things, and that's what you want to avoid basically. Just look for the transparent guys, and they're gonna steer you in the right direction.
Yeah, like for me, like if I had just wanted to learn dropshipping and I googled how to dropship, I probably would have got some crazy, you know, spammy thing.
Right.
But for me, I got lucky. It was the same story where I met a guy named Anton, and I knew he was making money online, and he had a course. So I was like, well, I trust this guy, and obviously he makes money from it. So I went to antonmethod.com, followed the course wholeheartedly, and it worked.
Right.
But I don't know if that would have happened if I just randomly Googled some, you know, how to make money online. Like, do not Google how to make money online.
Yeah, because it's going to be people like you and I building niche sites to drive you to somewhere. No, I'm just kidding. But that does exist, and I mean that's just kind of the nature of the beast. So, like you said, I think the best thing is reach out to someone that you know is already successful in this, and that you can trust and develop a relationship with and run with it. I mean,
Well,
having a
that-
mentor
yeah.
is the best thing you
I
can do.
really believe so. And I think that's one of those 80-20 things that people don't talk about is people give away 80% of the info for free, but the last 20% that really helps them make some money are things like have a mentor.
Right.
And people never talk about that.
Right.
You know, or have a environment where you don't have any stress, that you're surrounded by other entrepreneurs, you know, and you know that may well be that 20% that gives you that success.
And to go further on that point, like I said, I listen to podcasts nonstop, and a majority of these people that are now successful got successful for that exact reason. Like you said, they found something that they were interested in, and instead of just sending an email like you said, and maybe the person answers, buy their product, invest in their product, show them that they're serious, and then reach out to them for a mentorship. Or if they offer the mentorship for sale, buy it, because that shows that you're serious and you're committed to them teaching you. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to be open to helping you because they want to see you succeed, because that's just better advertising for their site as well.
Yeah, definitely. So thanks very much for being on the show, both of you. Brittney, are you looking forward to the rest of your time here in Chaing Mai?
Absolutely.
If they want to get in touch with you guys, your site is
thetradingtraveler.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, all the latest and greatest social medias. But yep, thetradingtraveler.com. You can shoot us an email. We're totally open to entertaining anyone's emails or contact requests.
All right, very cool. So if you guys want links to everything that we talked about, including Charlie and Brittney's site and social media pages, go ahead and just go to the show notes on the travellikeaBossPodcast.com, episode 30, and I'll see you guys next week.
Cool. Thanks for having us on.
Thank you.
No worries. Bye-bye.
See you.
Thank you for listening to the Travel Like a Boss podcast. If you want to hear more, including the bonus How to Choose the Perfect Niche episode, join our mailing list at travellikeabosspodcast.com. See you next week, and remember, if you want to travel like a boss, you need to be your own boss. So start your online business today and start living the lifestyle you've always dreamed of.